Hey there, shooters! If anyone still thinks the 22LR is nothing more than a kid's plinker, they haven't been paying attention. This cartridge has evolved into something far more serious, especially when loaded with the right rounds. Some of today's 22LR loads aren't just punching paper. They're solving real problems in self-defense, small game hunting, and survival. Stick around, because this breakdown covers the rounds that actually matter when performance is on the line. And if you're getting something out of this deep dive, hit that like button and follow Survival Gear Armory. There's a lot more coming. Federal Punch. The Federal Punch doesn't waste time pretending to be something it's not. Designed specifically for defensive use in rimfire pistols, this little 29-grain flat-nose projectile is engineered with one goal: penetrate deep and do it consistently. Unlike many hollow points that gamble on expansion, the Punch skips that drama. It drives straight through with a nickel-plated casing that ensures reliable cycling in semi-autos, even in finicky pocket pistols. In ballistic gel, the Punch routinely delivers 12 to 16 inches of penetration, even through heavy clothing. That performance puts it in line with FBI standards for centerfire defensive rounds, which is impressive for something that comes out of a rimfire case. Expansion may look better in slow-motion videos, but penetration is what saves lives. Federal knew this and designed accordingly. The real magic is reliability. Anyone who's ever tried running hollow points through a semi-auto 22 knows the pain of nosedives and failure to feeds. The Punch is different. Its flat profile and nickel-plated case keep it moving smoothly, box after box, without the headaches. That makes it a rare example of rimfire ammo that's actually dependable for carry. It's not flashy, and it won't wow anyone with exploding gel blocks. But that's the point. The Punch is like a professional who shows up, does the job right, and leaves no excuses behind. For shooters who insist on carrying 22LR as a defensive option, this is one of the very few loads that can be trusted to act like it means it. CCI Stinger. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the CCI Stinger plays the velocity card like no other. Clocking in at around 1,640 feet per second with a 32-grain copper-plated hollow point, it's one of the fastest and most famous 22LR loads ever made. Everyone who's ever talked rimfire velocity in a gun shop knows the name Stinger. It's practically a legend. Speed translates into energy transfer, and the Stinger dumps nearly 200 foot-pounds on target, which is serious business for such a small cartridge. The expansion is immediate and aggressive, mushrooming wide and quick like a switchblade opening inside ballistic gel. The result is a dramatic wound cavity that often surprises shooters who are used to thinking of rimfire as lightweight. It's versatile, too. In rifles like the Ruger 1022, it turns varmints into easy cleanups. In compact pistols, it adds bite that standard loads can't match. Self-defense with 22LR is controversial, but if velocity and explosive energy matter, the Stinger makes a compelling argument. Of course, it's not subtle. The Stinger barks, it cracks, and indoors it can make enemies fast, especially with short barrels. But that loud signature is part of the appeal. It demands respect. Think of it as the Sprinter of the 22 family. Lean, twitchy, and devastatingly fast. For shooters who want raw energy and dramatic results, this round stands in a class of its own. Winchester Silvertip. Then there's the Winchester Silvertip, and this one doesn't play by traditional rimfire rules. At 37 grains, it's a segmented hollow point designed to fragment on impact. Instead of expanding into a neat mushroom, it splits into 3 or 4 jagged shards that tear multiple wound channels through soft tissue. In gel testing, it looks like a miniature claymore mine went off, violent, chaotic, and effective. What makes this fragmentation so impressive is that it's intentional. Winchester engineered it that way to maximize internal damage while avoiding over-penetration. That makes it particularly suited for self-defense in close quarters, where the last thing anyone wants is a round punching through a wall into another room. Even with its aggressive tip, the Silvertip runs surprisingly well in semi-autos. Testers have run it through platforms like the Ruger SR-22 and Smith & Wesson Victory without malfunctions. That's rare for a round designed with such radical expansion behavior. This ammo has been flying under the radar for years, but recent gel test videos have given it new visibility. Some shooters even call it the 22 that thinks it's a 410 slug. That might sound dramatic, but the results speak for themselves. It's not a gimmick round, it's a purpose-built solution that delivers a unique edge in situations where stopping power matters. Norma Hunter 22 Power. The Norma Hunter 22 Power doesn't have the marketing machine of CCI or Winchester behind it, and it doesn't scream for attention with flashy packaging. Instead, it carries itself like the strong, silent type, unassuming but rock solid when it counts. At 40 grains and about 1,260 feet per second, it doesn't chase extreme velocity. Instead, it finds a sweet spot between stability and power. The result is a round that expands reliably, penetrates cleanly, and, maybe most important, offers consistency box after box. Norma is known for its precision manufacturing, and it shows here. Every round feels the same point of impact, same recoil impulse, same results. That consistency matters when hunting small game, where clean hits mean clean kills. One of the most underrated qualities of the Hunter Power is how it treats meat. Where hypervelocity rounds can tear through a squirrel or rabbit and leave nothing usable, the Norma expands enough to stop the animal but doesn't shred it. For anyone relying on rimfire as a hunting tool, that's a game changer. And it's not platform picky. Whether it's a suppressed semi-auto or a bolt-action rifle, the Norma Hunter cycles smoothly. Many shooters report that it runs cleaner and more reliably than more expensive rounds that try to do too much. Add in the fact that it's often priced in the 10 to 11 cents per round range, and it's easy to see why it's developing a cult following. It doesn't look glamorous, but that's the point. This round is the quiet professional, accurate, dependable, and deadly effective. For hunters who want terminal performance without drama, the Norma Hunter deserves a permanent slot in the ammo stash. CCI Velocitor. The Velocitor is CCI's answer to shooters who want performance without gimmicks. At 40 grains and about 1,435 feet per second, it's heavier than the Stinger but faster than most standard loads. That balance is what makes it so versatile. It's not too fast, not too light, it's just right. Terminal performance backs that up. On impact, the Velocitor expands cleanly and symmetrically, driving deep enough to achieve 12 to 14 inches of penetration in ballistic gel. That puts it squarely in the range considered effective for both hunting and defensive use. Where lighter rounds may overexpand or fragment, the Velocitor simply does its job, every time. Accuracy is another selling point. In rifles like the Ruger 1022, it groups tight and predictable, making it a favorite among varmint hunters. It doesn't just hit critters, it anchors them. Many shooters describe instant lights-out performance with minimal twitching or running after impact. Out of shorter-barreled pistols, it still delivers enough speed to perform reliably, and it tends to cycle better than other 40-grain expanding rounds. What sets the Velocitor apart is its reputation as a dependable all-rounder. It won't fragment like the Silvertip, and it won't scream like the Stinger, but it offers balance across velocity, expansion, and accuracy that few rimfire rounds can match. For shooters who want a single .22 LR load that can do almost everything, the Velocitor is the practical choice. It's the kind of round you buy a few bricks of and keep tucked away in the safe. Not because it's flashy, but because when it's time to get serious, whether that means dropping a raccoon raiding the coop or grabbing a reliable defensive option, it's always ready to deliver. Aguila Super Extra HP. Aguila has quietly become one of the biggest rimfire producers in the world, and their Super Extra hollow point is proof that affordable doesn't have to mean weak or dirty. At 38 to 40 grains and around 1,250 feet per second, it doesn't chase records. Instead, it delivers reliable expansion and solid cycling at a price point that makes stacking deep a reality. Shooters often raise an eyebrow at low-cost ammo, expecting misfires or poor accuracy. But the Super Extra surprises. Run-through lever actions, semi-autos, and even suppressed pistols, it performs better than expected. and often better than some premium brands. Failures are rare, and feeding tends to be smoother than hollow points that cost twice as much. Terminal performance is equally impressive for the money. In gel tests, the Super Extra expands reliably out of rifle-length barrels and still delivers usable performance from compact pistols. For backyard pest control or small game hunting, it punches far above its price tag. Of course, it's not match grade, and no one should expect Olympic accuracy from it. But that's not its purpose. This is the workhorse round for plinking, practice, and everyday varmint duty. It's cheap enough to shoot all weekend without feeling guilty, and reliable enough to keep a box or two handy for when varmints show up uninvited. In a world where ammo prices swing wildly, Aguila Super Extra HP is the dependable option that doesn't break the bank. It's not glamorous, but it proves that affordable ammo can still be capable ammo. For shooters who value volume, reliability, and functional terminal performance, this round more than earns its place on the list. Winchester Super X. When it comes to rimfire ammo, some names have been around so long they've become part of the landscape. Winchester's Super X 22 LR is one of those names. Generations of shooters have relied on it for hunting, pest control, and general-purpose shooting. At 40 grains with a muzzle velocity around 1,280 feet per second, it doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It just makes sure the wheel rolls every single time. Super X is all about balance. It offers enough speed to stay flat and accurate, but not so much that it sacrifices control. Expansion is consistent, penetration is reliable, and accuracy is dependable out of both bolt guns and semi-autos. In practical terms, it simply does the job without fuss. Hunters know the value of that kind of predictability. For decades, raccoons, possums, and foxes have all dropped to a single well-placed Super X. It doesn't always look spectacular in ballistic gel, and it doesn't make for dramatic YouTube slow-motion videos. But in the field, results matter more than theatrics. That's what makes the Super X such a staple. It's the old cowboy at the table. No flash, no gimmicks, just a proven record and the kind of reliability that makes it a permanent resident on gun shop shelves. In a market flooded with new, tactical rimfire loads, the Super X remains a reminder that consistency and trust matter more than hype. From the steady hand of Winchester Super X to the fragmentation of Silvertip, the speed of the Stinger, and the deep punch of Federal's design, this breakdown proves the point. 22LR is far more than a training round. It's a cartridge that adapts to its role. Whether that role is pest control, put. The thread tying it all together is simple: purpose-built performance. Every one of these 8 loads was designed to excel at something specific, and together they create a full spectrum of options that makes the .22LR one of the most flexible cartridges a shooter can own. So here's the takeaway. Don't sleep on the .22LR. Respect it, choose the right load for the job, and it will keep surprising you. And if this deep dive breakdown hit the mark for you, smash that like button and follow Survival Gear Armory, because there's always more gear, more ammo, and more insight coming your way.